there friends, once again welcome to my channel. My name is Andrew and today I'm going to show you how you can use Formulae in Microsoft Access. I'll show you how you can use Formulae in Microsoft Access tables, Microsoft Access queries, Microsoft Access forms, and Microsoft Access reports. Without wasting time, let me start Microsoft Access. In my previous videos, I've been showing you how you can start Microsoft Access, and if you can't find Access on your desktop, you can always search it by typing Access, and the Access will show up here, and then you'll be able to start a database. So when I click blank database, so I'm going to create a blank database, and I'll be able to illustrate how you can use Formulae. You'll find that at certain instances you may need to use the formula in a certain scenario, and without knowing how to apply formula in Access, it becomes quite difficult. So I'm going to start illustrating how you can use formula in the Microsoft Access table. As you can see, I have a table here which is pre-made, but I'm going to create my own table. So you go to create. If you are not well versed with the creation of Access objects, you please refer to my previous videos on how to create tables. But here I'm going to show you how to create table from design, table design. So I'm going to have probably the first column is I can call this ID, data type. The data type, I can select the auto number, and then I have probably I'm going to use simple information, assuming that I have marks for students, assuming these are marks for students. To be straight, let me use English. These are student marks, English, and this is going to it has to be a number. Let's use a number. And then we have mathematics, and then it should also be a number. And then we have, let's say, science, and then it should be, let's use a number, because these are going to be students marks, so you put a number. So I'm going to assign this a primary key ID, just to illustrate how you can also use primary keys in other tables. That's how you assign primary key. And once you are done, you go here and save your table. Save table. I'm going to call it marks. You can as well see TBL, standing for table, or TB, TB meaning table, and TB capital L, and I call this marks. The best way to name these objects is to start with to use acronyms like TBL, like FRM, because when the project becomes big, you'll get a bit of hardship to know whether it is a table, whether it is a query. So it's better to use TBL. If it is a query, QRY. If it's a form, FRM. If it's a report, RPT, in that order. So you can now save this table. Now this table has been saved, and assuming that we had marks here for a student with ID number 1, once you start typing, the system will allocate a number. So assuming this student got 88 here, and it got maybe let me use simpler numbers, 80. You can always go back and edit 80 here 70, and then science maybe 60. So, and then we have students. The second student got maybe 60 in English, and then mathematics. This is mathematics. Mathematics maybe 70, and then science maybe 90. So these are marks. So assuming that you wanted to create a formula in a table to reflect total here, such that the total will automatically be populated. So what you do, you go to design view, and then you say you add their total, and then you are going to have what we call calculated field, and you just want to add English plus mathematics plus science. So you just double click English, you double click, you use the left click by double clicking mathematics, but remember you are adding. So you put add mathematics, then you put add science, and then you say okay. And having done that, you just come to save here. You save, and then you close. So when I open my file here, you see that it is giving me totals. 70 plus 80, you get 150, plus 60, you get 210. So you see here, now when I go ahead to add more information, 50, 50, 50, the total is automatically derived. It's not only total, you can as well get the average. Let's try out the average. So we go to design view. This time the average is going to be total divided by 3. So the average is a question of adding English plus mathematics plus science divided by 3. But since we got total adding the 3, we are going to use total averages. Oh, we can say averages. You know, we are trying to avoid the reserved words. Like a sum is a reserved word in Access and Excel, so that's why I'm putting averages. So I go again, calculated field. Then I see the total is already here. I know average is a question of getting the total of the 3. So I would have added English, math, science, but since I have total, I just double click total, and I say divide by 3 because there are 3 subjects. So I say okay, and then I save my file here, my table, and then I close, and then we check whether it's working. Yes, it is working very well, very well. Don't worry about this. It is not an error because it has 7.3333. So you can see the average of 50, 50, 50. Of course, it's going to be 50. This 50, 50, 50 is going to be 50. The total is 150. So you can see that's how you can apply Formulae in tables. How about queries? I'm going to show you how you can use Formulae in queries. It is also very simple what you do. Do you want to save this? Yes, and I want to create now a query that is gonna add for me information according to the fields I will have picked. So here what you do, remember this is table, so we are going to create a query. So create query. So I'm going to create query from query. Where is query? Query design. Come here, and I want to use this table. You know, queries are based on tables. You can't do a query without a table. So I've added my query, the table that is going to be the basis of the query. So I'm just going to select all the fields. You just drag this star and put here. It will have selected all the fields, but since we just want the fields to appear individually, you do that, drag and drop, or you can double click, double click, double click. So we can as well do our Formulae here. Please you pay attention here, because here you have to learn some techniques. So if you want to do a total here, you just type here total. I'm going to have a column in the query which will give me total, and you use so you type total like that, and then open square bracket. You open square bracket. So let's just add English plus mathematics plus science. Remember, open square brackets, square brackets, square brackets, plus science. And I'm going to, okay, I think there's a problem with the formula. Yeah, because I didn't open square bracket here, that's why it's behaving like this. So this is our formula. So let's see how it, let's see whether it works. So I'm going to save this query. As I said, you use QRY because this is a query, and this is a query for max. And I say okay, and now you can see that I have my query saved. I can close this. I don't need that table. So when I double click, you see now I'm under queries, but the total is coming out nicely. So that's how you create a Formulae in a query. But again, let's go back and do the average. Average. You can as well do subtraction, multiplication. So we can do the average. It's simpler to do the average. Maybe now let's use multiplication. I'm going to multiply the total. I'm going to call this one column. This will be the column name, multiplication. Just going to say total times 3, and we see what we get. Formulae are very important here, because you'll find a scenario where, for example, you are developing a payroll system and you need to add numbers. You are developing an inventory system where you need to add numbers, and so forth and so on. A database ideally should have numbers somewhere, somehow. So that's why you need to understand the Formulae in Microsoft Access. So I save my file and I see how it comes out. You can see 3 times we tripled actually. 3 times 210, you get 630. 3 times 220. So I'm trying to show you how you can really apply these Formulae. You can see the numbers are coming out. 220 times 3, 660. 150 times 3, you get 450, and so on and so forth. Having done that, let's forms. You are going to create a form again based on this table here. So again, let's create a form. ideally, once you learn how to play around with the Formulae, you're going to be developing very complex applications, because you'll be able to play around with the different parts of the data, your database, adding, subtracting, and so on and so forth. So create a form. I'm going to quickly create a simple form here. Let me see whether this one will quickly do for me a form. Let me create a form here. Create form. This one, which will put for me all the different fields. So it has created a simple form for me. So I can edit this form. You go to design view. I can edit the form. You go to design view. I just want to derive this by myself, so I don't want this to appear. Just to want this to appear. So you can see it has created for me a quick form, and remember, this is, well, marks. They are just marks. Remember, now we are creating form, and I want to save this form. Save the form. This time I'm going to use FRM. And what's the form name? Marks again. Marks. We can say marks. Marks. Sorry. And then we say OK. Of course, there are many ways of creating forms, but as you can see, when we have tables, we have queries, we have forms. When I created a form, when I clicked on create form, it created this form, as you can see. But you can see now the totals are not coming. But however, I just want to show you how you can put a formula such that I generate the total average. It can be multiplication, it can be subtraction. So when I click here, just come down and total. What you do, you just put equals in this box here, in this text box. This is very simple. Just put equals. The first subject is English, plus the next subject is mathematics, and then the last subject is science. There we go. So let's see whether the total is working. You can always save. You can save here, or whenever you close, of course, it will ask you to save. So yes, now our total is 210 for ID 1. This could be maybe a student ID number 1. This could be maybe Andrew's ID number 1. 70 plus 80, you get 150, plus 60, you get 210. So when I scroll to the next record, again, it gives me the total. The next record, it gives me the total. What about the average? The average. Again, I go back to design view. If you don't know how to play around with the design view, please go to my videos talking about creation of forms. So if you want the average, as I said, you can either get the whole thing here, and instead of typing, or you can use total divide by 3. But I can as well use, programming is a very flexible concept. You can do 10,000 people, they can program something in many different ways. So I can divide by 3, or I could have used just total. So I've put open brackets so that everything is in brackets, and then divide by 3. So let me see whether I can get the average of this, and yes, let's see. Yes, it comes out very well. So these are the averages. You can see that. You can see, yes. You could as well have used total divided by 3. Now, lastly, reports. Again, let's create a simple report, and I show you how to add a formula on the report. Create a report, just a simple report here based on this table. Creating a report. So this is our report, but since I want to illustrate this report, so having done that, I've created a simple form. It has done for you, of course, some columns here, but assuming that I wanted to add another column which doubles, maybe which multiplies average by maybe by 3. Let's just do that. I just go to design view. So I'm going to put here such that I get a product of the two numbers. So what you do, you come here, control, and then I select a text and I drop it here. So when I drop it here, of course it comes with the label here, but here what I want to do is to get my average. So here what you do, you just type average and then times 3. So we want to see this is a label. You can as well copy this label. We know that this label is about product of average and the 3, so we get average. So we call it a product, knowing that it's just about average times 3. Since this is just for illustration, so you will apply the concept to other scenarios depending on your needs. By the way, let me also use this opportunity to show you how you can even get the overall total for all the students. So you just come here and again go to arrange, rather design, you go to the tools, you go down here and put here the overall total, grand total, grand. You can call it grand total, grand total, and then here you just say sum. It will sum all the totals. So total is equal to, this is sum, and you put in brackets, you want to sum all the totals, so it is just total, and I close here, and let me see what I get. If I get some errors, it means there are problems we need to fix. So here, this is not a table, this time it's going to be a report, RPT. Let's use capital just for consistency purposes, RPT, and close that. So you can see table, query, form, and I've indicated to you how you can be able to apply Formulae. So here under the our reports, you can see there's a problem. It means that we use the average instead of averages. So you come design view. I'm going to just say averages because it is averages here. Averages, small s. I don't know. I've never tested whether capital small matter, but yeah, you can see. When I multiply this by 3, I get to 10. I go back to my total. So you can see 210 plus 220 plus 150, I get 580. Just maybe need to show you how you can align it such that it doesn't look that like it's adding it's adding averages. So I'm just trying to align it about here, so that it's about well aligned with total. So you click, you see here my grand total is 580. I think, which is correct. This is 0, 8, and this is 5. Yes, 580. So I'm just trying to illustrate to you how you can use these concepts when you are developing Microsoft Access applications, because I know you will come across a scenario where you need to apply Formulae. Lastly, I want to illustrate how to troubleshoot errors. For example, under queries, assuming that you had like the way we troubleshooted average, but here assuming that you had made a mistake, and I go back to my query formula, and instead of calling mathematics, and I forgot an H. So you see what is going to happen. So when I click here, it will complain of H, mathematics. It should be mathematics. So you just go back, correct that, and the formula will work very well. So in case you get such dialog boxes, it means that you didn't type the items very well. So here when I do that, I think now I've corrected the mistake. It is query, and it works very well. I think I've come to the end of this session on Formulae in Microsoft Access. Please like this video, share this video, subscribe to my channel for more videos. Hit the notification button if you want to get notified when I upload new videos. Thank you very much for listening to me, and bye for now.